The rhythmic chant of thousands echoed through the expansive marble halls of the Tehran International Conference Center, a sound that carried the weight of millennia into the digital age. Beneath the towering arches and the intricate tile work of the capital, the air hung heavy with the scent of rosewater and the palpable electricity of a nation standing at a historical crossroads. On the dais, framed by the emerald and white of the national standard, officials stood in uncharacteristic silence as the decree was read. This was not a mere change in administrative protocol or a routine diplomatic adjustment. Outside, the midday sun struck the Azadi Tower, casting a long shadow over a city that has served as the heartbeat of a civilization for centuries. The atmosphere in the streets shifted from the mundane rush of commerce to a collective, hushed realization. This was not simply a rebranding of a modern state. It was an assertive reclamation of a deep, civilizational identity that reaches back to the Achaemenid Empire. According to Iranian state media, the transition to the formal designation of the Republic of Persia represents a strategic pivot intended to align the nation's modern political identity with its historical cultural prestige. Iranian officials claim that this shift is a sovereign right, designed to emphasize the country's role as the successor to one of history's greatest empires. Military spokesmen stated that the move reinforces the internal unity of the people by invoking a legacy that predates modern geopolitical divisions. Iranian state television broadcasted segments throughout the day detailing how the Persia designation would now be utilized in all official international correspondence, treaties, and sporting events. They argued that the term Iran, while geographically accurate, does not fully capture the cultural gravity and soft power inherent in the Persian name. By reclaiming this title, Tehran claims it is signaling a return to its rightful place as a central pillar of global civilization. Symbols of the lion and the sun were displayed alongside modern imagery to represent this synthesis of the ancient and the current. But the story quickly became far more complicated. Before we break down the specific regional reactions and the technical implications of this shift, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest dramatic developments shaping global geopolitics. According to Western diplomatic sources and regional analysts, this transition is viewed less as a cultural celebration and more as a calculated geopolitical maneuver. Israeli authorities stated that the rebranding is a transparent attempt to distract the international community from ongoing nuclear enrichment concerns and regional proxy activities. U.S. media reported that the State Department is currently reviewing the legal implications of the name change on existing sanctions and international agreements. Analysts noted that in the realm of international law, a change in a state's formal name often requires a complex re-registration with the United Nations and other multilateral bodies. These defensive mechanisms are designed to ensure that a nation cannot use a name change to bypass financial restrictions or legal liabilities. Technical experts in international maritime law suggested that such a change could even impact shipping registrations and oil tanker designations in the Strait of Hormuz. Between these narratives lies a complex reality that analysts are still working to understand. What does this mean for the global energy system? The answer is a significant increase in regional unpredictability. The Persian Gulf, a waterway through which 20% of the world's petroleum passes, now bears the name of a state that has explicitly linked its identity to imperial expansion. To the south, the Gulf monarchies view this shift with extreme caution. The name Persia is not just a cultural marker. It is a claim to a specific historical sphere of influence that encompasses much of the modern Middle East. When Tehran invokes the Persian legacy, it reminds its neighbors of a time when their territories were provinces of a central authority. This carries immense strategic weight because it signals that Tehran is no longer content with being a revolutionary state. It seeks to be recognized as a traditional great power. The strategic message was clear. Persia is no longer a historical memory, but a modern geopolitical reality that the world must acknowledge. The cascading consequences of this declaration began almost immediately within the military sphere. Within hours of the announcement, Naval forces in the region reported an increase in patrol activity as neighboring states sought to assert their own maritime boundaries. This heightened state of alert has already begun to ripple through regional governments. In Riyadh and Abu Dhabi, emergency sessions were convened to discuss the implications of Tehran's renewed civilizational rhetoric. That spike in regional tension has consequences far beyond the Middle East. Global markets reacted with immediate volatility. Brent crude prices ticked upward as traders weighed the risk of renewed friction in the world's most sensitive oil artery. Shipping insurance rates rose. Energy futures climbed. Logistical costs surged. This economic pressure soon reached the halls of international diplomacy. European capitals expressed concern that the name change could complicate the language of future diplomatic accords, requiring months of technical renegotiation. Furthermore, the domestic political reaction in the United States has been sharp. Members of Congress have already begun drafting legislation to ensure that all existing sanctions on Iran are legally transferred to the Republic of Persia without loophole or delay. The administration finds itself in a delicate position, balancing the need for clear communication with the desire to avoid a rhetorical escalation that could lead to a physical confrontation. This chain reaction demonstrates how a single word can disrupt the delicate equilibrium of global power. The Republic of Persia maintains that it is merely reclaiming its ancestral heritage to foster national pride and global respect. The international community maintains that this is a provocative attempt to reshape the regional hierarchy under the guise of cultural identity. This event represents a profound shift in the way one of the world's most significant actors views itself and its role on the global stage. It is a fusion of ancient history and modern brinkmanship, where the lines between cultural pride and territorial ambition are dangerously blurred. As the banners are changed and the stamps are re-inked, the fundamental questions of power and influence in the Middle East remain unanswered. Will this transition remain an isolated incident of national branding, or is it the beginning of something far larger? Stay tuned for further updates as this situation continues to develop. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the latest dramatic geopolitical developments.